Hi everyone, welcome. We are so excited to have you here as you start your journey towards New York City Specialized High School Admissions Test SHSAT. In this video, we're covering a math lesson to build the foundation you'll be needing to get a top score. Before we begin, be sure to have a pen and notebook ready with you because we'll be talking about many tips and strategies throughout, so make sure that you do have all of the necessary equipments so that you can note down anything that you find important. Also, if you cannot afford expensive tuitions, don't worry. Our free lessons and practices are more than enough to help you prepare completely for your exam. Plus, our app also offers a predictive test, which is going to give you a realistic feel of what the exam is going to feel like. Now, let's get started and take the first step towards landing into one of New York City's specialized high schools. So like I said before, if you would want more practice materials, make sure to download our SHSAT Prep app from Apple App Store, where you are going to find lots of different practice materials so that you do not need expensive tutoring anymore. Without any further ado, let's get ahead with the video.
Okay, so in this lesson, it's quite interesting because we are going to write algebraic expressions and equations from word expressions. So that's basically what we see in our daily lives, right? We see a lot of expressions that are happening, scenarios that are happening around us. And how do we use these into algebra and put this in our daily life? So that's one of the concerns that we are going to be tackling in this particular lesson. Let's just get started and let's look at the first question here. 48 oranges are needed to make 6 glasses of juice. If Olivia wants to make X glasses of juice, write an expression for her to find out the number of oranges she needs. Okay, so first of all, how many number of glasses of juice are there? She wants to make X glasses of juice. And how many oranges? So let's say Y is the number of oranges that she needs, okay? While X being the number of glasses of juice. So in that case, we can try to figure out a ratio in that case. So if I want to go for oranges to the glasses of juice, so that's going to be Y over X. And it's saying 48 oranges are needed to make 6 glasses of juice. So 48 on top and 6 on the bottom, okay? So then because we need to figure out an expression to find out the number of oranges, so basically we need to put Y on one side and put everything else on the other side. So that's also important to figure out what the question is really asking for. If the question had asked for glasses of juice, we would have put X on one side and everything else to the other side, okay? So now if you simplify this, 6 with 48, that's just X. So that's just 8. So that means Y equals 8 times X, doing just cross multiplication. So that's my expression. They did not tell us to figure out the value for anything, just the expression, okay? So the next question says a train was moving M miles at the speed of R miles per hour and then 4 hours at the speed of S miles per hour. So because we're talking about speed and time, and the question is asking to figure out the distance, we do need to know the formula for speed, which is distance over time. So speed equals to distance divided by time, right? So because the question is asking for distance, basically we do need to make distance the subject, and that's speed times time. Okay. So in the first instance, if you see, moving M miles at the speed of R miles per hour, 4 hours at the speed of S. So 4 hours at the speed of how much? S miles per hour. So if we want to know the distance, we can say S times 4, right? S times 4, that is 4S. And initially, the distance was moving M miles. So the initial part's distance is already given, and the next part's distance we've just figured out. So what's the total distance? The total distance is 4S plus M. Because we need to write it as an expression, let's just write D here. So D equals 4S plus M. That's my expression to figure out the distance. Moving on. 5 friends went to watch movies. Each ticket cost X dollars, and each person bought popcorn and soda for Y dollars. How much did they spend in all in terms of X and Y? First of all, you need to know how much does each person spend. Each person, so each of these friends, each friend, how much do they spend? They first spend on the ticket, which is X, and then they buy popcorn and soda, which is Y. But because there are 5 friends here, in total, how much do they spend? They are going to spend 5 times X plus Y, right? Because there are 5 friends here. So in total, they have spent 5 times X plus Y. Got it? Let's move on. Here's a practice question. So in basically all of the lessons, we do keep some practice questions for you. Make sure that you do take a screenshot of this, or you can pause and try doing this question on your own. And I hope that you do get the answer. The answer is already given because it's saying that you need to show that that is equals to that. So the answer is already given. I hope that you can try on this on your own. And then let's move on to the next question. We have another practice question here. As you can see, we generally do keep the answers below so that once you're done, you can actually match the answers, okay? Let's move on. So this question says, if x equals 5 and y equals -3, what's the value of x, parentheses, x minus 5y? So what I'm going to do here is, in the case of x, I'm going to write 5. Open parentheses, again, x, 5. Minus 5 times, in the case of y, I'm going to write -3, right? Now what? Now let's just break the multiplication first, because that's what we do. Inside the parentheses, we have multiplication, and after that, we can subtract. So -5 times -3. Negative and negative makes positive. 5 and 3 is 15. Then you do 5 parentheses. 5 plus 15 is 20. Because it's just a parentheses, nothing in front, we know that there's a multiplication sign here. 5 times 20 is 100. So your final answer is 100, okay? Let's move on. If x is 4 and y is -1, then what is the value of x squared minus 2xy plus y squared? There are 2 ways you can do it. You can either put the values of x and y, just like I did in the previous question, or you can just try to figure out a formula with this. Have you learned the formula a squared minus 2ab plus b squared? Have you learned that formula? So in that case, what happens is a squared minus 2ab plus b squared is a minus b whole squared, right? Similarly, x squared minus 2xy plus y squared, we can say that this is x minus y whole squared. So if you do get this formula on hand, it's much easier for you to figure this out, because that just means 4 minus 1 whole squared. Minus and minus makes plus, so that's just 4 plus 1 whole squared. 4 plus 1 is 5, so 5 squared. 5 squared is 25. You can either do it in this way, using the formula, or just like I did the previous question. Moving on. So we have an expression here, and after that, if x is 10, was the value of expression shown above. Same like we did already. What all I'm going to do here is, in the case of x's, I'm going to write the expression. So 5 times x cubed. This case, I'm going to write 5 times 10 cubed. Plus 3x, I'm going to write 3, 10. Plus 9, plus 1 over x squared, so 1 over 10 squared. Then what? What's 10 cubed? 10 cubed is 10 times 10 times 10. 10 times 10 is 100. 100 times 10 is 1,000. So that's just 5 times 1,000. Plus 3 times 10 is 30. Plus 9 plus 1 over 10 squared. 10 squared is 10 and 10. 10 and 10 goes, and it's 100. Now 5 times 1,000 is 5,000. And 30 and 9 is just 39. And then you have 1 over 100. 1 over 100, you can write it as a decimal. So that is 0.01. Now, if you add everything up, 5,000 with 39 is 5,039. And then that's the only decimal that you have. So you put a decimal and a 0.1. That's your final answer. Okay? Let's move on. So we have a practice question here. I hope that you do get 12 as your answer. Okay? Let's look at the next question. Here's another practice question. I hope that you do get 48 as your answer. Let's see. Okay. If A equals 2, B equals 3, C equals 12, what is the value for 3A plus 4B minus 2C? So first of all, what we do need to know is how to convert all of these to the same number, okay? So if we just look at this bit here, so 3c equals 12. If 3c equals 12, that means c equals 12 over 3, which is 4, right? So we can say c equals 4. Let's just put it on one side. And then we can also say 2b equals 12. So 2b equals 12, that means b equals 12 over 2, which means b equals 6. Okay? And then finally, a is also equals 12. So it's already written that a equals 12. Now you put everything in this expression. 3a means 3 times 12 plus 4b means 4 times 6 minus 2c means 2 times 4. Breaking the parentheses gives us 3 times 12 as 36, 4 times 6 as 24, 2 times 4 is 8. You add first and then you subtract. So 6 and 4 is 10, carry the 1, 3 and 2 is 5 and 1 is 6. 60 minus 8 is 52. That is your final answer. Okay? Let's now look at the next question. We have another practice question here. I hope that you do get 75. Now, verify by substitution that x equals half is a solution to this. First of all, what we need to know is on both sides, because it's an equation, it's 6x equals 8 minus 10x. On both sides, we are going to put half in the case of x. So what we do here is 6x. In the case of 6x, we do 6 times half. And in the case of 8 minus 10x, we do 8 minus 10 times half, okay? So 6 minus half is what? Sorry, 6 times half is 3. 8 minus 10 times half is what? 5. So most definitely 3 equals 8 minus 5, which is 3. As both sides are equal, we can say that, all right, yes, x equals half is the solution to 6x equals 8 minus 10x. That's shown, that's proven, verified, okay? Let's see, we have another practice question here. And of course, you do it in the same format. You put x equals minus 1 on both sides, and I hope that you do get equal answers on both sides of the equation. Okay. Now we see something different. It looks kind of different, but trust me, I know that we're not affiliated with this symbol. It's only because questions like this have a certain symbol and they tell us that this symbol represents something else. So as you can see, P with that symbol means P minus Q plus 5. And in this question, it's saying for symbol -3, and again, we have a symbol and a 5. So let's just do for symbol -3 first, okay? So if you look very clearly, 4 is, of course, a P here, and -3 is, of course, a Q here. So just looking at the formula, we can put P minus Q as 4 minus -3, and then put the plus 5, okay? 4 minus -3 is what? That's just 4 plus 3 plus 5. So now you add everything up. 4 and 3 is 8. 8 and 5 is 13. Wait, 4 and, oh, sorry, what am I saying? 4 and 3 is 7. 7 and 5 is 12, right? Okay. So now that you're done with this, let's move on to the next part. So the next part says, this entire thing that we just did, we now have a symbol with it, and then you have a 5. So the entire thing where we just did is 12, right? And then you have a symbol, then you have a 5. So this means here, P is this 12 and 5 is this Q, right? So putting it in that formula, that's P minus Q. So that's 12 minus 5. And again, you put a plus 5. So minus 5 and plus 5 cancels each other out. So is just 12, which is your final answer. Okay? I think that's the last practice question for today. And here is another practice question for you. as if that was our last example.
So with that being said, that is the end of this lesson. Thank you so much for watching. And if you want more practice materials and videos like this, make sure to download our SHSAT Prep app from Apple App Store. You are going to find out a lot of practice materials, and at the same time, there's a predictive test waiting for you so that it's going to give you a real feel of what the exam is going to feel like. Thank you so much for watching once again. Make sure to check out our next lessons, and at the same time, subscribe to our YouTube channel for more.